If you have been keeping tabs on Graham Wardle since he left Heartland in 2021, you already know this man has been quietly building something meaningful on his own terms. But on April 11th, 2026, he shared something that honestly stopped me completely. A photograph with a woman named Paola Sellaro and a baby boy, face carefully hidden from the camera. Graham Wardle is a father, and the way the whole story connects how he found Paola, who she actually is, and why this relationship is so perfectly aligned with everything he has been building since he walked off that ranch, is honestly one of the most beautiful things I have read about any Heartland cast member in years. Let's talk about all of it. Who Paola Sellaro actually is, how Graham found her and why it happened the way it did, what we know about the baby, what the April 11th post actually showed and what it did not. And then let's do the full picture of everything else Graham has been doing in 2026, including the podcast, the book, the Heartland Season 20 return rumors, and the scammer warning he has had to put out repeatedly this year. Because there is a lot to catch up on, and every single piece of it matters. First, the elephant in the room, the Heartland Season 20 return rumors. Because if you have been on YouTube in the last few months, you have probably seen the wave of breaking news videos claiming Graham Wardle is coming back as Ty Borden. Some of them have clips. Some of them have what looks like a leaked trailer with a shadowy silhouette that looks just like Ty. I want to be direct. As of July 2026, there is no confirmed return. There is no official announcement. Heartland Season 20 is filming in Calgary right now, and the story at the center of it is Amy's answer to Nathan's proposal, not a miraculous resurrection of a character who died from a blood clot in Season 14. Those videos exist to capture clicks from people who miss Ty Borden, and the people making them know exactly what they are doing. You deserve the real story instead. Now, the real story, starting with Paola Sellaro. Paola Sellaro is an intuitive healer and kinesiologist, and I want to explain what that means because it matters enormously for understanding how these two found each other. Kinesiology is a form of healing that works with the body's energy systems using muscle testing and movement-based techniques to identify and clear physical, emotional, and energetic blocks. It sits comfortably in the same world as the work Graham has been doing on his Time Has Come podcast for years. Conversations about spirituality, personal growth, stepping beyond fear, and healing in ways that mainstream culture doesn't always have language for. Paola is not a random person who wandered into his life. She is someone who is already doing work that lives in the exact same philosophical space Graham has been inhabiting since he left television. And here is the detail that I honestly think is the most beautiful part of this whole story. Graham found Paola through her work online. Those are his own words from his official Facebook page. He found her work. He was drawn to it. He reached out. That is not a celebrity meeting someone at a party or through mutual industry friends. That is a man who had spent years building a podcast platform dedicated to people who have made courageous leaps into the unknown, finding a woman who was already living the exact principles he had been talking about. And then she became a guest on his podcast. The episode is titled The Healing Power of Kinesiology with Paola Sellaro. He interviewed her the way he interviews all his guests, long form, philosophical, genuinely curious. And somewhere in the process of that conversation, or the ones that followed, something shifted from professional to personal. By October 2024, Paola was appearing in his online community events. there is a record of an official Time Has Come after party hosted with Paola Sellaro on his Facebook page. She was not just a former guest by then. She was part of the world he had built, and by the time April 11, 2026 arrived, she was the person standing next to him in the photograph he shared with his community for the first time. The photograph, a baby boy, face carefully, deliberately kept hidden from the camera. And I want to say something about that choice, because I think it tells you something about both Graham and Paola as parents. This is a man who has spent years building a platform around genuine personal growth while simultaneously maintaining a level of privacy that most celebrities with his reach do not bother with. He limits his Instagram lives to roughly once a month. He does not broadcast his personal life as content. And when it came to introducing his child to the world, he and Paola chose to share the joy of the moment without exposing a baby who cannot consent to being a public figure to the full weight of a fan base that has been watching his father on television since 2007. The face is hidden. The love in that photograph is not. We do not know the baby's name. We do not know the exact birth date, though as you noted, the timing of the announcement suggests the baby may have arrived a little before April 11th, and they simply chose to share the news when they were ready rather than immediately. We do not know whether Paola and Graham are engaged, married, or simply building a life together as partners. What we know is that a baby boy exists, that he is Graham Wardle's first child, and that Paola Sellaro is his mother. And I honestly think asking for more than that right now, when they have been so deliberate about protecting this new chapter, would be the wrong thing to do. What this does is add an entire new dimension to everything else Graham has been working on. Because season 3 of the Time Has Come podcast has been specifically exploring themes of masculinity, fatherhood, and authentic connection. He has been talking in his live sessions about what it means to be a strong and loving father, about healthy male role models, about the balance between strength and tenderness. I do not think those are random themes he landed on by accident. I think he was already becoming a father when he started recording them. And the man who left a hit television show to go figure out who he actually was, who spent 5 years podcasting and writing poetry and building a community around courage, is now raising a son. And I honestly think every single conversation he has had on that podcast has been preparation for exactly this. Now let's talk about everything else going on in his world, because the baby news is the biggest thing, but it is not the only thing. The Time Has Come podcast is currently in its 3rd season and consistently releasing new content in 2026. Recent episodes have covered topics like the spiritual foundations of genuine wealth, a conversation with portfolio manager Josh Biggins about why high net worth individuals frequently still feel poor and what trust rather than money actually builds in a life, alongside episodes on intuitive healing, personal awakenings, and what it means to build something from a place of alignment rather than fear. New episodes go live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific for paid members of the Time Has Come network. The podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and at timehascome.com. His Substack has thousands of subscribers, and his combined following across Instagram and YouTube sits at over 2 million people, which is a meaningful audience for someone who left mainstream entertainment behind to talk about kinesiology and spirituality. He also published a book of poetry, also titled Time Has Come, in collaboration with artist Jesse Watson, who provided original watercolor paintings. The book is a collection of introspective poetry focused on self-discovery, empowerment, and navigating life's transitions. He held a book signing at Amber Marshall's country store in Alberta, which tells you that the friendship between the two former co-stars is genuinely intact and warm rather than just a professional courtesy. And then there is the scammer warning, which I want to make sure every single person watching this knows about. Graham has been repeatedly actively warning his fan base about highly sophisticated fraudsters who create fake accounts impersonating him. These accounts reach out directly to fans and, in some cases, have caused significant financial losses. And then, in an evolution that is genuinely cynical, some of those same fraudsters have started posing as cybersecurity experts, offering to recover money from fans already victimized in the first round. Graham's own words, pinned across his official platforms, are clear. He does not have a private fan club, a talent management representative, or a cybersecurity team. Anyone claiming to be connected to him in those capacities is not. His only real presence is on his verified official accounts. Please share this with every Heartland fan you know, because the people being targeted are exactly the people who loved Ty Borden most. Graham Wardle was born in Mission, British Columbia, one of 6 children, and discovered acting at age 6 through a church play. He spent 14 seasons playing Ty Borden on Heartland, was previously married to Alison, a marriage that ended in a split in 2018, which he confirmed publicly in 2020, and made the decision to leave the show in 2021 to pursue a life that felt more genuinely his. 5 years later, he is a podcaster, a poet, a published author, and now a father. The Heartland show goes on without him. Season 20 premieres on CBC this October. But Graham Wardle's story, the real one, the one he is actually living, is in its best chapter yet. Drop a comment and tell me, did you know Graham had found someone new and was starting a family? And what do you think of the way he and Paola chose to share the news? Protective, quiet, and on their own terms. Because honestly, after everything this man has been through since 2018, I think he has earned every bit of the happiness that photograph represents.